everybody. I'm Dr. Erin, one of the good doctors of Abbey Research. Today is Wednesday, December 2nd. I'm coming to you from a very snowy and cold Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. And for today's Good Doctors Diagnose, I want to spend a few minutes talking about the importance of multi-generational perspectives in adaptive leadership. That is a lot of words that I tried to find a way to explain why we need to understand not only the generations that we work with, but the generations that raised them. And this is a point that I came to understand and to think about as I am reading through currently this book, Gen Z at Work by David and Jonah Stillman. And I've just started it, so a review will be coming for Abbey Research Reads in the near future. And in this book, pretty early on, they're talking about the difference between millennials, which I am and Dr. Kristen is, and Gen Z, the generation after us, and how we were shaped by the generations that our parents belong to. So millennials were raised by baby boomers, and Gen Z was raised by Gen X. That's all very confusing. There's a lots of letters and generations happening. So pretty soon, look out for an infographic from Abbey Research breaking down which generation raised which generation. But it's an important point for adaptive leadership. And what I mean by that is, you know, we're constantly reevaluating what workplace culture looks like based on the people that we're working with and how they were raised and how they see the world. Because who raised you and how you were raised influences what you expect out of the workplace, what kind of policies that you want to see enacted in healthcare, in benefits, how you want your corporation to behave in terms of its use of technology, its engagement in corporate social responsibility. All of these things are shaped by the worldview that a generation possesses. And, you know, no generation is a monolith, everything exists on a spectrum, et cetera, et cetera. But it's important to understand the basic characteristics that shape the generations you're working with and how those generations were shaped and those characteristics were shaped by the way the adults that raised these workers. So this is a long way of saying it's not just enough to understand Gen Z and millennials and how they see the world and what they want out of their workplace culture. You also have to understand how they were differently shaped by Gen Z, respectively, and Gen X parents, millennial and their baby boomer parents, because it's kind of like unpeeling the layers of an onion, right? To get to the core of what's driving some of these workers, you have to understand the events that shaped them, but also the events that shaped their parents and why those particular perspectives on the world, on social, political, economic, cultural issues has changed the way that they parented and the way that they taught their children how to behave in the world. And it's a really important point that hopefully David and Jonah will get into a little bit more as I get through the book, but it's certainly one we're going to be focusing on here at Abbey Research. We're doing a whole bunch of generational research, as you can see from some of the books that Dr. Kristen and I now have on our bookshelves behind us in our Zoom backgrounds, in preparation for some workshops that we'll be presenting virtually, of course, in 2021. So have a look out for those. We're gathering information and synthesizing it into a way that's going to be most helpful for workplaces that are now dealing with upwards of 4 and sometimes 5 different generations at once. So there's a lot to understand and a lot to unpack, and we're here to help you guys. That is our Good Doctors Diagnose for today. Have a great rest of the week. We hope wherever you are as safe and as healthy as possible, and we will see you guys next week. Take care.